All right, folks, welcome back. This is segment number 3 of the Marketplace Show and Reset. And we just wrapped up our official kickoff of the Marketplace TV show here on the Marketplace Show Reset and our Shopper Network with my colleague, Jessica Kyler. Up next is none other than the man himself, looking like he's some kind of professional baseball player today. If I didn't know of any better, I thought he was really a professional baseball player. He just has that look that like he knows what he's doing. How you doing, Michael?
I am doing good. Speaking to you guys from Atlanta today. Been traveling the last few weeks.
Okay,
Yeah,
okay.
yeah. So no, not baseball.
Okay. So you left us down here and you're up there. How long are you gonna be up there for, man?
Just a few weeks, maybe 2 weeks or so, and then I'm heading back down home. Can't wait to
Just
get back.
just 2 weeks, just 2 weeks, only 2 weeks, right?
Yeah, 2 weeks of no sleep, long hours. Yeah, yeah.
So how you been, man? How you been? Other than being a jet setter, traveling the place.
I've been good. Seeing how the economy is moving, being in personal finance, I'm paying a lot of attention to, the areas of consumer goods, seeing how customers are relating to their money. There's a lot of things going on. There's a lot that, as it relates to business and technology, a lot of moving pieces. You talk about the gig economy right before the pandemic. It's blowing up now. There's workers that don't want to go back to work. There's a shortage of consumer goods. We spoke about a few weeks ago, the microchip that's heating up even more. There's a lot to talk about.
Well, back when we spoke, right, the microchip was probably the focus, right? Because
Yeah.
it really affects just about every form of electronic, right? Whether
Hmm.
it's a consumer appliance to computers, smart devices, cars, televisions, you name it, right? That whole chip, right? Microchip. But now the spillover is way beyond just chips now. We're seeing where uh, stuff that you would normally think that's available isn't available anymore.
Yep.
You
That
know,
is true.
and just now I was talking to Jessica, and we said, listen, this is the busy time of the season. If you want what you want, if you're gonna get what you want, when you want it, you better start buying now. See, I'm a last minute guy, so I'm speaking to myself. Okay, I'm preaching to me, right? You
Preaching to
can't wait
yourself.
till the last minute because it's when you're ready, you're not going to be able to get it when you want it.
Yeah, you won't. And it's been creeping up, actually. We've been in this pandemic now, how long, Tony? A year and a half, going on 2 years.
Maybe
And
it's going on 2 years, bro.
yeah, I know. And it's kind of strange to say that out loud, actually. Every time I hear it, it is strange. And we saw that, there wasn't a lot of products available. But my only question is it that the analysts got it wrong? We
Of,
thought that
of
American
course
citizen
they
had
did.
less.
You know they did. You know they
They
got
never
it
get
wrong.
anything wrong, Tony. They're always 100% accurate.
It's like the meteorologist, right? You
Yep.
need to do the weather forecast.
Oh man.
Oh
It's
God.
interesting though. This is very interesting. We're in the middle of the pandemic. You would think that every industry would, suffer greatly. And we're seeing a massive boom across the board. I can't think of any industry that's taken a hit, at least as it relates to, user, not consumer spending or the ability to purchase. You know, everything is doing fine. It's
Absolutely.
very, very interesting.
Absolutely. And now we also have so we have here there's consumer goods, there are retailers who are caught up in that supply chain, right? Having to have they need inventory in order for them to sell goods to the consumer.
Yep.
Uh consumer orders something and they've gotten to this instant, overnight thing. You buy something today, you're expecting it tomorrow, right?
Yeah.
then now we see gas prices going up, right? Inflation is now the new talking point, right?
Yeah,
Because
that's a hot topic.
we're seeing the price of goods now starting to increase, just because companies can't get the product, the merchandise to market, from manufacturing to shipping to the stores where the consumers can buy. There's a bottleneck. You can't get it.
Well, that's the balance of, supply and demand. And, the more demand you have, the higher the prices will be, versus before it was somewhat at a equilibrium, but not anymore. There's many factors that are leading to this shortage, though. It's not just the manufacturers aren't able to produce. It's just that they're not able to.
Shortage? Can you say labor shortage? Can you say labor?
Well, it's funny. Funny enough, that's actually increasing salaries, or at least offers for new, workers. You hear about McDonald's offering, was it 25, 22 an hour?
What?
They were offering something insane, something I never thought I would have seen in my lifetime. They were in the 20s for sure. And this other fast food chain, they're offering about $26 an hour, and that's good pay. Good pay. Very interesting time to be alive and in the work force.
And it's funny because prior to the pandemic, there was this cry of inequity, right? Where wages lagged or did not keep pace with inflation. And all of a sudden, we're now seeing a shift.
Yeah.
Right? We're now questions like, are we seeing now a new labor movement? Because it's now shifted on the side of the workers. The workers are now not only demanding, but they're refusing to come back to work unless certain conditions are made.
Yep. And part of what led to that is I always had a theory. I always thought that I was going to get to this point. Never thought it would be this drastic.
You did.
Oh yeah. If you think about how rapidly companies are growing, not only in the US, across the world, there's only a certain number of people that have the skills to keep up with that growth, right? Technology has enabled companies to grow extremely fast. And, going back to supply and demand there, if you have a huge demand within a short period of time, then what you have a disbalance, you have an imbalance of the system. So that means that each company is going to have to, pay more to not only get, employees in, but also to retain them, offer more benefits. Now, I will say, I'm a bit worried.
But the skill sets, though. But the skill sets. I mean, you see, you touch on something there, right? Before technology was growing so fast, it required a retraining, a retooling of the workforce, because of this, because of the gap in the skill sets, right? Mm-hmm. So here you are, those workers who need the proper training are refusing to come back to work.
Yeah.
So it's a double whammy. The employee has to now try to get them to come back, to retain them, but they also have to invest in training this workforce to be able to have the skilled workforce as well.
And if you actually think about right before the pandemic, we were having a huge peak or increase in the gig economy, which means, people just starting their own businesses online. It kind of came with the boom of Shopify and making that very, very easy for anyone to just have an idea, sell their product, whether it's a bakery or lotion or hair products, you name it. And now we have a growing population of those people. You have a growing population of freelancers or consultants that work on the side. And then now you throw in all of this. What does that mean? There's mothers out there that are saying, I want to have more control over my time, and doing this brings me more control versus going back to a company where I should have been working 8 hours, but maybe I work 10 to 12, So there's a lot of things that, come into place. But what I will say is the silver lining is that this gives an opportunity to smaller companies where it's obvious that workers are just looking, or employees are looking for more than just how much am I getting paid. It's more about how much flexibility do I have in my life to do the things that I love to do, to spend time with my family. That gives younger, smaller companies the opportunity to work with people who are extremely skilled at different, I don't know, different industries or different markets, which is, a very good trade-off, in my opinion, at least for a short period of time.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So what I'd like to do, because we'll do 45 minutes of the show today. And so I'd like to feature two reports from Marketplace, the Marketplace organization. And one will talk about the unavailability, temporary unavailability of goods that people are looking for that they just can't get anymore right now, and the issue of the labor issues that we're having in the country. All right. So what I'd like to do, let's take a break, come back. We'll pull up those two reports and we'll offer some comments on that. Okay.
Sounds good.
We'll be right back, folks. You're listening to segment number 3 here on the Marketplace Show Reset on technology and e-commerce. This is Tech Talk. We'll be right back. All right, folks, we are back and welcome back to the Marketplace Show Reset, segment number 3 on technology and e-commerce, and we call it Tech Talk. Now, you just saw one of the commercials talking about the new Marketplace TV. So here it is, folks. We are giving you a free gift for every business that would like to have their own Marketplace TV. We are going to give you a free Marketplace TV player. All you got to do is come to our website and submit your order. Shipping is free. You get it in 4 or 5 days via U.S. Postal Service. This is the Marketplace TV. This is the player, which is what you connect through your television, and then this is the remote that comes with the player. And we are going to, for every business in this country that would like to have their own Marketplace TV player, we'll send you one of these. This is the player itself, a small little box, and it comes with a remote where you're able to control the content. This is the HDMI that connects to the player to your TV, and you're able to download the app, and you'll be able to literally control the remote So if you have one television of the Marketplace TV player, or you have 100, you'll be able to literally, you don't have to be physically at location. You'll be able to control the Marketplace TV with your remote player. And so we're given for every business that wants a free Marketplace TV, we're going to give you that. All you got to do is come to www.ourtv.network. Again, that's www.ourtv.network. And below the television screen, you'll see the one button that says click here to add us to Roku, because we're on Roku now. And so you're able to just below the television screen, you click the button, and we are free. Our channel is free. So when you click on it, you subscribe to our channel, add us to your list of channels on Roku. Below that is where you can submit your requests, your order to get a free Marketplace TV player, and we will ship you that at zero cost. It doesn't cost you anything. It's all free. You order it, and we ship it to you for free. So, Michael, we're going to play the part that talks about why are some goods temporarily unavailable, and what we'll do is after each report, we'll then offer some comment to each report. Okay.
Yep.
This Marketplace podcast is supported by Equinix, the world's digital infrastructure company. Looking for the choice and control of hardware with the low overhead and developer experience of the cloud? Deploy Equinix Metal in minutes across 18 global locations, from Silicon Valley to Sydney. Just add Metal at metal.equinix.com.
This Marketplace podcast is supported by the S&P Capital IQ Pro platform, helping you uncover new opportunities with deep sector insights, ESG data, and supply chain intelligence. That's the power of S&P Capital IQ Pro. Learn more at spglobal.com/capiqpro.
In which we start a trip, perhaps a very long trip, into the global supply chain. From American Public Media, this is Marketplace. In Los Angeles, I'm Kai Risdell. It is Monday today, October the 11th. Good as always to have you along, everybody. The supply chain in just a minute. But first, let us review, if we might, our energy coverage on this program the past week or so. Told you about the spike in natural gas prices here and globally last week. Followed that up with a story about high coal prices here and globally. Today we're going to talk about the rising price of the other fossil fuel, oil, of course. Both benchmarks, West Texas Intermediate, which is ours, and Brent North Sea Crude, which is global, closed above $80 a barrel today. First time that has happened in 7 years. So we got the guy at Marketplace who deals in all things energy to explain what's up and how long these high oil prices and, oh, by the way, high gas prices might stick around. Here is Andy Euler.
$80 a barrel, that sounds high, I guess, but $3.25 per gallon for gas at your local station, now that's definitely high. Politicians know that, and some of them are arguing we need to get more U.S. producers to drill.
Gasoline at the pump is driving that discussion.
That's Eric Smith at the Tulane Energy Institute in New Orleans. That price at the pump could be due to Hurricane Ida, which shut down a lot of production. The Biden administration has asked OPEC to fill the gap, but Smith thinks that's a bad play, given all the reserves in the U.S.
It doesn't make a lot of sense for any kind of long-term economic development in the United States to shut down our long suit voluntarily so that other countries can exploit it.
Historically, at $80 a barrel, energy companies would be rushing to drill. And we have seen rig counts in Texas's Permian Basin inch up a bit, but Greg Priddy, an energy market consultant, says it's not the usual suspects.
It's not Chevron or ExxonMobil that are adding rigs in big numbers. It's the small independent wildcatters.
The bigger players are sitting out right now to protect investors' dividends. So the big question is, are they going to get in?
There will be somebody out there who is willing to put money in.
Eleanor Wald is president of Transversal Consulting.
The question is just, at what point will we see that happen?
Walt says it's not going to be overnight. New infrastructure is slow and expensive. But she also doesn't think prices are going to plateau at $80 a barrel. In Austin, I'm Andy Euler for Marketplace.
On Wall Street today, selling into the close is the phrase you are looking for. We'll have the details when we do the numbers. I got in the car after work the other day, headed south about 25 miles or so, and wound up on a windy hilltop in San Pedro, California, so that I could have a look at what's become maybe the defining image of the global supply chain snafu.
That's a lot of ships, but as you can see, they're spaced out. Everybody's in their circle. Normally, you'd have a tenth of what we have out there.
Ships, boats, same. Captain Kip Ludit is the executive director of the Marine Exchange of Southern California, which literally on that hilltop and electronically, as you'll hear in a minute, overlooks the ports of Los Angeles and Long Beach.
And it's basically air traffic control.
Air traffic control at the busiest container port complex in the country. About 4,500 ships from China and Japan, Korea, and points west come through here every single year. We're talking about more than a third of all U.S. container imports. Just to make sure I understand this, usually what happens is a ship calls you, container or otherwise, and you know it's coming because you've seen the schedule, and he says, "Hi, I'm here," and you say, "Go to berth 42," like almost same day.
They actually know 4 days in advance they're going to berth 42. And if you back up 2 weeks when the ships leave Asia, 2-week passage in normal times, they're getting their arrival time within 30 minutes. Because of the whole synchronization of the harbor pilot going out, then the tugboats meeting the ship, dock worker who plugs in the electrical cord, all of that is sequenced in a normal world.
Here's a little tidbit that shows you how not normal this world has become. The average wait time at the Port of Los Angeles right now is more than 11 days. In the before times, with ships hitting their arrival within 30 minutes after 2 weeks out on the water, it was basically zero.
And mathematically, there's supposed to be 0 to 1 container ships at anchor, 0 to 1. And today we have 66. So that's the magnitude of the backup that we have to take care of.
Which is why we're here. Those 66 ships on this today. What is today? Tuesday afternoon, right?
Correct.
There are, back of the envelope, 500,000 containers on those ships with stuff inside destined eventually for American factories and retailers and consumers. So we are starting a new series today called Temporarily Unavailable, about how stuff moves around the world, or doesn't.
So let me introduce Captain Pat Baranek. He's the general manager.
Good to see you.
Nice to meet
you. Somebody show me what's going on, because there's 66 ships out there, and they're not hanging around by themselves, right?
Let's show them out here. Okay.
All right.
We'll follow. Come on in.
Sure. We know why the ships are there, right? Pandemic buying binge by consumers, pandemic worker shortages and factory shutdowns slowed the supply chain. Stuff started piling up, and the more stuff piled up, the longer the delays got. And then retailers started gearing up for the holidays, and here we are.
San Pedro traffic, Costco Nagoya.
Costco Nagoya traffic, good afternoon.
What they do here at the Marine Exchange is help those ships figure out where to wait and how to navigate all the traffic that's out on the water.
Information, the Mount Nicholson is passing the Long Beach Sea Buoy outbound to the southwest. Over.
In a room upstairs in the building on that hilltop with big glass windows facing the ocean. Most of the attention, honestly, is on a couple of 3 big flat screen monitors.
So there's a defining line, basically a
Gotcha.
street called Navy Way that breaks the port in half,
Okay.
Long Beach. So one port complex, but 2 different ports.
So we've got the schematic, and then out in the ocean, which I'm going to guess is the dark stuff in here, right? Those circles are, how big are those circles?
The circles are 600 yards. Radius.
That's radius.
Radius.
So they can swing an anchor 600 yards.
Exactly. Yep.
Okay. This looks crowded.
It is crowded. I would say the most that it's ever been in the history of the port complex. So we're utilizing all of our anchorages plus our contingency anchorages. So we created additional anchorages that aren't charted.
Wow.
Then in addition to that, overflow-wise, now we have drift areas. So vessels that are but waiting to come into port are currently at anchor. Then we have an additional 31 that are sitting offshore, drifting, waiting for an anchor spot or waiting to go into berth.
Like really drifting?
Like drifting.
That doesn't seem entirely safe, if I could just as a layperson.
So unlike a car, they can't stop.
Yeah,
Obviously, the ocean's constantly moving. Current, wind, all that affects the vessel. The type of the vessel is affected differently by the conditions. And what happens for us is that means they're calling us about every hour and telling us, I'm going to turn my engine back on. They get back under the wind and they move again, which means a lot of extra movement for us, in addition to the number of vessels that are already in the area.
Right.
So let me stop there and get a sense from you as to, based on what they outlined, are you in agreement? Are you in agreement with them, Michael, in terms of they mentioned they particularly talk about factory shutdown? Okay. Factory shutdown because obviously workers are being infected by COVID, and because they now have to sort of manage, super spreader type event, they can't operate at their maximum capacity, their full capacity, right? And so the factory, the manufacturer can't maintain their usual rate of producing product. So you now have this backlog, right?
Yep.
Plant closure. Now you have this backlog of merchandise, consumer goods that can't be manufactured because you don't have enough workers, because you have to now manage the COVID-19 infection, and therefore it creates this bottleneck, if you will, or clogging, if you will, of that system and that process.
Yeah, no, I definitely agree with it. It's not just at the factory too. There's also delivery people that sort the merchandise or supplies. Where do you put it in the warehouse? Because obviously now you're going to have a surplus. How are you going to process that? There's many factors. Shipping goods is one of the most logistically taxing industries ever. So there's a lot of moving pieces into this, and I'm surprised that things aren't crazier. Actually, think about it. It's crazy already, but they sound pretty calm.
Yeah. And of course, at the top they said the insatiable appetite of consumers shopping online, increasing the demand for goods to be manufactured.
Yeah.
Okay. And so one would say that you call it the chain reaction or the domino effect in this whole supply chain issue.
Yep.
So you really can't pin it on just one thing or one area that's causing this. Yep. There is just a chain reaction throughout the entire supply chain.
Yeah, there is. And it's gonna get a bit worse too, just because we're going into the holiday season. There's gonna be even more ordering. It's gonna get very hectic. But again, this is a channel about business, about small business and technology. This is a time, this is an opportunity for people that, maybe they have access. A lot of people in the Caribbean, we have access to smaller pools of shipping or transport. How can you get certain products? How can you make certain products? If you make soap before, if or you have access to someone that makes, batteries or something, how can you put yourself in a position where you're not only bringing brand awareness to yourself or your business, but you're also supplying, consumers with things that they can't get otherwise.
So you see this as an opportunity for, domestically speaking, for where you're not reliant on the shipping companies from overseas, from Asia, manufacturing the stuff in Asia, putting the stuff on the ship and to be shipped to the U.S. And obviously the U.S. now has to manage the logistics of getting the goods from the ship to the stores. And so are you saying that then locally this opens up an opportunity for local businesses who don't need to rely on as much, if you will, in terms of foreign material, foreign goods?
Yeah, if you think about the Caribbean, we have smaller boats. There's ways that we ship things throughout the islands here. Sometimes it's through planes, sometimes it's through smaller boats, but they're not the tropical, the Crowleys and whatever those mega companies that ship goods throughout China and the U.S. If we don't have to wait for them, and there's another way of getting access to supplies, why not? Even if you don't have a business currently and you think that, a guy from, St. Kitts, or a guy from St. Croix or from St. Thomas, that can kind of at least get an ingredient or one item, maybe you can produce something and put it out there. Just because, the other day I was looking for this particular body soap that I get and it's not available, and I actually found someone that's local. Because I was just telling a friend of mine, I don't have body soap. I miss my body soap. And, she said, oh, I have a friend that's, doing this, ended up buying her product. Now, I don't think I'm going to use anything else but that moving forward. Brand awareness is an opportunity, but it's not going to be easy, but it is an opportunity.
But what does it mean though? Because ordinarily, typically, for small economy, rural economies, we've been having issues with getting products shipped on time, or having the inventory. Today you go and you get a particular brand that you're looking for. Next week or next month, there's no guarantee you're going to get the same thing. So before the pandemic, we had that issue. So the pandemic and this new global supply chain problem we're having has now exponentially exacerbate the problem.
Well, there's two ways, right? So, historically, we depended on that, larger overarching belt of, shipping services from the major companies throughout the islands, right? And I'll take an example of a company from Dominican Republic. This lady and her husband make these products that are good for your hair. Men can use it on their beards as well. And, about 80% of that product was aloe vera, right? And, forever, she always got the product either from China or from some parts of the US. But, she ordered the product traditionally through, those bigger shipping methods. Turns out, right there in her island, Dominican Republic, I think produces, it's 40 to 50% of the aloe vera used in the top companies across the world. And, I got on the phone with her. She was telling me that. But funny enough, I saw a video on it probably 2-3 days before that. And I told her, hey, you should probably reach out to them and see if they have some extra aloe to give out. Turns out they did. So now she had an ingredient that played a major role in her product that's right there, but she never thought about looking, within. She never thought about looking to another island. So, I'm not saying that any business, and I'm not saying that it's going to be easy, but that is literally what we do when we're in business. We problem solve. Right? We look at opportunities. We look at, what's another avenue to do something, to get something completed. And this is an opportunity to do that. Some may not have the opportunity, but I think there's many out there that do.
So having the ability to organically take natural resources and material where you don't have to go externally to get that. So basically, if a small island economy or a rural community have the ability to produce the raw material themselves, that can have it can help to mitigate the current issue we're having, where you're not dependent on outside forces to do that.
Yeah.
Now, this is a rhetorical question, but I'm going to ask it anyway. Is technology helping or hurting? I
think, as we both talked a few minutes ago, I think it's both. it's both. It's bad from the perspective that it is giving people, the means to shop very easily and openly find the best prices. So, from that standpoint, there is a negative. But there's a positive because technology does enable people to, call the factory of, aloe that produces aloe and get on a video call and say, hey, I need this. And, using technology, they can easily send, whatever they need back and forth and, have that communication without it having to be a physical thing. Without technology, many businesses wouldn't be operating today, because there's video calls. There's, I know we've had phones for a very long time, still technology, being able to send certain documents where it's not as difficult to conduct business. Therefore, it's okay to conduct business in this environment. So it's an enabler, right? So it's a good and a bad thing, but I think it's mostly good.
Yeah. Technology has certainly enhanced our lives. It has made our lives so much better exponentially. But we're seeing, like anything else, where technology has make it a lot easier for us to go about our daily lives, to run our business, to run our homes, to do the things that we want to do every day because of the advancement, the innovation of technology. But we're seeing the other side of technology where, because technology is making it so much easier to get things done, it's now created this demand that obviously, if it wasn't for pandemic, we would be able to manage. But because it's a pandemic, is showing that we don't have the infrastructure or we have to change the infrastructure where we need to probably, like the president said, we need to get back to start manufacturing things domestically because we become less dependent on the outside world.
Yeah.
Right. We understand that it's for the businesses is keeping expenses low, increasing profits. Right. So that's why you see a lot of the stuff come from overseas because it's cheaper to do it that way. But clearly, when you see that your economy, your way of life, and your ability just to do the basic things is being impacted because you're relying on somebody on the outside to bring that into it for you. So we probably now, with technology being what it is, where instead of needing, 10 people to do a job, technology reduces it to at least half of that, maybe 2, right?
Right.
So technology reduced the cost of labor, but bringing back manufacturing domestically, locally, will help to address the vulnerability that we have and the dependency that we have on the external forces.
Yeah, no, definitely agreed.
Yeah. So this last report speaks to the issue of labor. Okay, so we talked about the issue of labor shortage, and so there are a number of things that are at play that is creating this supply chain problem. But the paradigm has changed, right? It's now the workers are now pretty much dictating, the conversation. Employers now find themselves having to now try to make concessions to workers to be able to get them to come back to work. And so let's go with this report that speaks to that issue of Americans are quitting their jobs in record numbers, but this one speaks, could they be a start to a new labor movement?
This Marketplace podcast is supported by ReliaQuest. ReliaQuest is known for being the force multiplier for cybersecurity operations teams. Regardless if targeted by phishing,
ransomware, or sophisticated cyber attacks, ReliaQuest combines open XDR technology with security expertise to make security possible for top brands worldwide. More at ReliaQuest.com.
No, come on. This week, what kind of way is this to run an economy? From American Public Media, this is Marketplace. In Los Angeles, I'm Kai Rizdal. It is Friday today. This one is the 1st of October. Good as always to have you along, everybody. Round and round they go on Capitol Hill. Where they land, well, I am not taking that bet. But we're going to talk about it just a little bit, as well as other things economic that happened this week. Sudeep Reddy is at Politico. Heather Long is at the Washington Post. Hey, you two.
Hey, Kai.
So, Sudeep, let me start with you, and let's assume. Well, no, let's not assume they make a deal. Do you think? Should we assume they're going to make a deal?
We should assume that they are at some point going to make a deal on some parts of this.
Oh man!
Look, there are a lot of things.
That's the most waffling answer you've ever given.
Yeah, look, I understand what people in parliamentary systems feel like right now, because we have different wings of the Democratic Party that are fighting with each other over what this looks like, and ultimately they're going to have to make compromises that everyone will hate and come together on something, because they don't want to just walk away entirely and say we're not doing any more legislation when we control the three pieces of the pie here: the House, the Senate, and the White House. And so they're going to end up doing something.
Do you think, though, Heather, that it will be true to what it seems the Biden administration started this entire effort with back in the campaign, that is, we're going to remake the position of government in this economy? If it gets scaled down, do you think that still holds?
It would be only a modest, more like a down payment if it gets scaled down. Yes, it would be at 3.5 trillion plus another trillion or so for the physical infrastructure. You know, you're looking at a pretty monumental amount of government spending increase. That may not quite have the same impact of the New Deal under Roosevelt, but it sure would be the biggest remake we've seen of the economy, in the last most people's lifetimes. But you're right, the more it gets scaled back, the more these programs go from being for everyone to only for certain groups of people, the less and less that this feels the big sweeping nature that Biden had campaigned on.
Yeah, Sudeep, talking about the price tag here for a minute. We learned yesterday, thanks to, I think, you guys at Politico, that Senator Manchin told Chuck Schumer, the Senate Majority Leader, in like July that $1.5 trillion was his top number. Number one, interesting that Schumer has known since July, but I thought the other part of that term sheet, I guess, that Manchin gave Schumer was interesting, specifically the line where Manchin said he wants the Fed to stop QE, quantitative easing, its bond buying program, as part of him approving this deal. What?
Yeah, look, Joe Manchin is not like the other Democrats in town. We've known that for a while. He came from a state where 2/3 of the voters voted for somebody other than Biden, and so we've been living in a land of unicorns and rainbows for the last 18 months. The Fed was just pouring money into the system. The Congress was pouring money into the economy. And obviously, it didn't always get exactly where it needed to go. There was some misallocation of who was getting the money. But the economy was just flooded with either borrowed money or printed money. And anyone who thought this would go on forever just forgot the realities of Washington. And we're now facing the realities of Washington, where people aren't going to be comfortable flooding the system with money going forward, even if they think that, these are good causes, but in their view, the math doesn't add up.
So let me stop there, because I just realized that you have to bounce. So we didn't get to the part to the labor. Is this a new labor movement? And to be continued, folks. If you want to listen to this entire report, please come visit our website at www.ourtv.network. That's www.ourtv.network to get, and click on MBC, the menu that says MBC, and click on where it says small business. That's where you get the small business report. Let me just leave you with, don't forget, folks, please, we are giving every business that wants would like to have an incredible customer enhancement experience and to help digitize your business. This is the Marketplace TV player. We will send it to you at no cost. We'll ship it to you at no cost. All you got to do is submit your requests. Go to OurTV.network. And below the live television screen, you'll see the button say click here to get your free Marketplace TV player. It comes with the remote as well. This is the remote that it comes with. It comes with the remote, and it comes with the HDMI cord that connects to your TV. Before I let you go, anything else you want to, any questions, anything you want to, any comments before I'll let you go?
No, the only thing I'll say about the label market is that we should just, as businesses, think more thoroughly, more creatively about what we're going to offer to our future employees and our current employees if we want to retain them, but also if we want to acquire new employees as well.
Absolutely. Okay. All right, folks, that's it for us on this end. This ends the third segment, final segment of the Marketplace Show Reset on technology and e-commerce. My colleague, Michael Girard, is co-host of the program. He's here every other week. Michael, I want to thank you. Stay safe in Atlanta and, continue to be productive on your end, my friend.
Same there. Thanks. Have a good one.